Well, those days have all but gone, and still I'm listening in to that old long distance call. But I'll forget you. But the fields are turning gold as the winter moves in. There's a love I used to know, but I'll forget you. So bye bye. So bye bye. I'll forget you. There's a ghost above my door, stuck in the air. There's a high lonesome call, but I'll forget you. So bye bye. So bye bye. I'll forget you. As the space around me grows, I need the touch of your skin, so I wear this ring of gold till I forget you. So bye bye.
Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, that's right. It's been a interesting week, hasn't it? I think it's been an interesting week. It it all started with a letter, with a lawyer's letter, right? And it all started with a lawyer's letter named Douglas Pepe. And Mr. Pepe decided that he wanted, out of the kindness of his own heart, to write a article, what he ended up calling an opinion, on whether or not Ravencoin was a security. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Let's see. So, why would a letter need to be written on whether a coin was a security or not? So, if you do or don't know, I'll just tell you. In order to get listed on an exchange and have that exchange not be a registered exchange, you need to have some form of documentation from somebody like a lawyer giving an analysis of why a coin is or isn't a security, because the exchange themselves don't want to get in trouble with a regulator for having an unlicensed, unregistered security be traded on their exchange. So we looked at the Pepe letter on Tone Vase's show, and the Pepe letter was interesting It was actually a very well written letter, but there was one problem. It was written by somebody who is a major stakeholder within Ravencoin. So that's a pretty easy conflict of interest to identify, right? I think a good example is that a doctor is not allowed to own a CAT scan machine, because when a doctor owns a CAT scan machine, suddenly everybody needs a CAT scan, and the doctor's making money off that CAT scan, right? So in this case, a lawyer writing a letter saying that the asset that he holds is not a security in order to get that asset listed on an exchange so it can increase in value is suspect, to say the least, right? So why? Why would that lawyer write that letter? Now, the thing about Ravencoin, and I'll give it its just due, is that it launched simultaneously with no pre-mine, no ICO, no insta-mine. Everybody that chose to mine the coin was able to do so right from the beginning. And it was a technology race at that point. So if you had a larger mining rig, you were absolutely going to be able to take advantage of that. We've had a few instances in the past where this type of structure has been set up. So think about this: the gold rush, right? If you had a simple pan and you were in a creek, you could pan for gold, and if that was the tool that you had, you could get a couple of nuggets and you'd be fine. But if you had a shovel, you could do better. If you had mining equipment, you could get to the bigger deposits of gold upstream where this lower stuff was going. If you had dynamite, wow, you could really get there faster. And so what you had effectively with the Ravencoin setup is people with pans, shovels, dynamite, mining equipment all hit the coin right at the same time, where even Bruce Fenton admitted that their coin hit 2 terahash at one point in time in mining. That's a big number for a coin that's brand new. Now, how did you get this kind of frenzy on a coin that at that point didn't do anything special at all? It was just a fork of Bitcoin. There was really nothing that this mainnet launch was going to do that was different than anybody else, other than for 4 months prior to the software being available for mining. You had some people out there promoting that, saying, get ready to mine Ravencoin. So under Cialdini's influence, right, what do you get? You get authority because you got Bruce Fenton saying it. You get scarcity because right at the beginning, people know if you can get in early, you're going to be able to get some coin cheap, right, for cheap hashing power. And on top of that, they created a market for it right away. Almost day one, it was on the market. So all of these things, smell like a pump and dump. They really do. As opposed to just an experiment. If it's just an experiment, you don't need to promote it for 4 months. You just launch it, tell people about it briefly, saying, hey, we're going to launch this coin. It'd be neat if you could mine it, because eventually we're going to be, launching this asset class that later might be worth something. But for now, we're not going to list it on an exchange. We just need your hash power in order to continue our experiment. And really, at that point in time, it could have stayed testnet, but it didn't. They pumped it for 4 months, launched it mainnet right away, put it on an exchange the next day, and people have been speculating in it ever since. So the thing that makes this different from a traditional investment contract scenario is the question of whether that kind of promotion and whether the promoter prior to the activity took any compensation, and whether failing to take compensation prior to the formation of this contract of the ask, whether or not that exempts it from a securities offering. And this is the thing that we've been playing with, or that I've been playing with all week, and I've been arguing that it could make it an investment contract. Now, Bruce has taken my statements of saying it could be that as some form of definitive statement that I'm arguing that it is. That's a little reactionary, but Bruce is a reactionary guy, so I guess I should have considered that. In the meantime, Bruce has been, losing his shit a little bit on Twitter. What's up, Ty? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Which I get it. I mean, nobody wants to be on the hook, and nobody wants to be told what they did was wrong. But unlike some lawyers, I'm not out here just trying to carry the flag. I'm out here trying to carry the flag for everybody that says, no, this is the right way you need to do it if you want to avoid these kind of regulations, if you want to avoid scrutiny. So what I wanted to do this morning is I want to walk through kind of the process and the argument for how this type of process, the promotion of the launching of code, can cross over into the securities realm. And I wanted to do it without any kind of fanfare or any kind of reactionaryism. I just wanted to kind of make the case, admitting this is a case of first impression. It is. No, there's no direct case law on this. It has to be put together through a series of correlated arguments and supporting law that could end up with this result. And then I want to talk about how you can avoid this scenario in the future. So that if you want to try to launch an experimental coin and you want it on mainnet, how you might be able to successfully do that without crossing into the securities realm. So, Howey test, right? The giving of money and now money's worth. Under the management and control of others with the expectation of a profit. Now, in certain districts, you get different rules on what's called commonality, horizontal versus vertical commonality, and whether or not the assets that are being invested are pooled. Generally speaking, pooled assets cross right into the horizontal commonality frame, right? Whether all of the investors are combined and their efforts are combined with the same deal. And arguably here, with the call to the community by the promoters was for everybody to go and mine the coin. And why would you call the community to mine the coin? Mike says he's here for the sick gains. Well done, man. I get it. Thanks for being here. So there was a call promotion to mine the coin, right? Get ready, there's going to be a land rush, there's going to be a gold rush, it's going to happen, and we're going to say go, and then everybody's going to, there's going to be a race to get the coin. So is that the equivalent of a securities offering? And that's an interesting question. How can it be and how can it not be? So right from the beginning, it's easy to say that it's not, right? Nobody took any money. There's no direct benefit that you can see. There's no, on the surface. Arguably, it's decentralized. So people are saying that, because of decentralization, that's, a mitigating factor. Let's avoid all of that for now. And let's just focus on how asking somebody to mine your coin when you're the person that created it or promoted it may form an investment contract. So the securities regulations break things down to the expectation of the purchaser or the target of the promotion. And that's kind of key here. What does the person that's being asked to mine, what are their expectations? And this is pretty easy, and we can check this box pretty quickly. You tell a miner, you're going to get in on the ground floor, blocks are going to be easy, right, just at the beginning of Bitcoin, where somebody with a simple laptop could mine Bitcoin. We haven't had a real credible coin released lately that had the potential to earn money for a miner like Ravencoin, right? So people are kicking themselves. Gosh, if it was 2009, I wish I would have mined Bitcoin, right? 2010 even, I would have done it. How much money would I had? Mike wants to know, is Bitcoin a security? And I'll get to that. There's a fundamental difference here, and the question of whether or not Bitcoin is security has already been answered. And I'm not talking about Ravencoin itself as a security, and that's the key difference, right? So I'm gonna write this in here. I'm not saying that Ravencoin is a security. Let's just cut that, right? We're going to take that off the table. I think Bruce has forgotten that. I think everybody's forgotten that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the request for people to mine with the expectation of them receiving Ravencoin, that's the investment contract. It's nuanced, yet you have to separate that. So I'm going to write that down. The request for people to mine the coin is the investment contract under analysis. Everybody together on that? Right? Just like Bitcoin is not a security, and Ethereum is not a security, and the majority of the coins that are mined, those coins are not securities. Tokens, different question, right? ICO tokens absolutely can be a security, right? Because people they're told, give me your money, I'm going to give you a token, right? And that token becomes the investment contract. Here, what I'm saying is that the request to mine, that's the transaction we're examining. So, I'm going to see if I can use pieces of my 3D printer to try to explain this a little better. Here, this little thing is going to represent, Bruce, and this is the miner. Here's Bruce. Hey, give me your mining power. Okay, great. Now Bruce has the mining power. What do you as the miner get in return? You get Ravencoin. This is silly. This is simple to understand. But Bruce's argument, which is a good one, and again, this is a case of first impression, is he never got any money from the miners when making that request. But what did he get? And this is the key to understand here. He got a working platform. He got the opportunity to mine himself. He got hash power that supports the value of his network that he created. And he started buying up millions of coin at a very cheap rate from the initial miners, to the point to where now he admits that he has 30 million coin. He also controls, and is part of the process for when the asset function of the coin is going to be released onto the network. He says that he doesn't. I don't think there's anybody that believes that. He controls when that information is going to be published. He controls the Ravencoin Twitter account. All of this tends to show that he is a control person and has an interest in the success of the coin, right? But we keep coming back to it. He never took any money. But we can form an investment contract without ever giving any money. What did Bruce say? Give me your hash power. Mine. Right? Give me your electricity, your computer power, your internet connection. Point it at my code. And that's the giving of money or money's worth that we're talking about. It's nuanced. It's not clear cut. It's a hidden type of structure. It's a unique scheme. And I'm going to call it a scheme because it's very difficult for me to believe at any level that Bruce and Tron and these guys would set up a coin out of the goodness of their own heart, that T0 and Medici would allow these guys to just go off and work on their own on some other project that's going to make them money, and have it not be a coordinated effort. So what do you think? Does the T0 Medici Patrick Byrne connection to Ravencoin change the analysis? I think it does. I think if it was just some guy sitting in the basement, said, hey everybody, I'm launching Ravencoin, this is awesome. It doesn't mean as much, does it? But that's not what we have. We've got Bruce Fenton, Patrick Byrne, Tron Black, T0, Medici, Overstock. You have these huge players that are not only supporting it, but they're out there manipulating the market by buying the assets. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Now, I could just as easily argue that it's not an investment contract. I want you to know that, but that's the easy argument. And for those of you that know me, know that I don't take the easy argument. I like to play with the hard arguments. I like to play with the ideas that are difficult to understand, that are cases of first impression, to really try to break the law, to try to tease what the law is doing, to hack the law, basically. So that's what my goal is here. How can what Bruce did cross over into an investment contract? And I think the key here is the 4 months of promotion on the lecture tour in front of anybody and everybody that he could get to in order to create that FOMO moment, that frenzied moment, to get as many people as he could to launch the software, to create as many coins as it could, for it to pump in value right away. If you remember the Kraken days, most altcoins that were forked from Bitcoin were trading at 0.00002 cents. And if you could get that to go to 0.000004 cents, you just doubled your money. Ravencoin is trading at 2 cents. From an altcoin perspective, it's incredibly valuable. If my next door neighbor's 13-year-old kid had created Ravencoin, it would be worth 0.000002 cents, not 2 cents. And that has to come into play here about the value of the promotion, the value of the roadshow that was done, the reach of Bruce Fenton, and the community of people behind it that are propping this thing up. So it'll be interesting to watch. I'm sure Bruce is going to keep on saying that, there's no way it can be a security, and that's fine. That's fine. Keep saying that. But what frustrates me is the absolute denial that it might be. So, as a result, I want to moot it out. I'm going to do a moot court case. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to argue both sides, as Sasha suggested. So, who out there wants to defend Ravencoin? And we'll do it live. As Obama used to say, we'll put it on C-SPAN. Who wants to be the lawyer that defends Ravencoin? Any takers? Marco? Where's Marco these days? We haven't heard from him in forever. What about Mr. Pepe? Douglas Pepe, do you want to defend Ravencoin in this transaction? I'd love to know. That's it. That's all I've got for Sunday morning. This is going to be a small one. It's only 25 minutes, but a little bit of clarity, I think, was needed. With that, have a great Labor Day weekend, everybody. And please, you want to defend Ravencoin? You want to do it as a lawyer in a moot court scenario? Reach out. I'm your huckleberry. Have a great day, everybody. I'm Jason. I'm not your lawyer.